And one that I think you've grown on, and I believe you said you like it, I feel like fits exactly what you described as Freak Show.
Oh, yes.
Freak Show, definitely.
Freak Show, I liked it, but I didn't get buzzed at all.
It was super. It was strong on the limonene, right?
Hard.
But it wasn't like, I don't think it was too strong on the limonene. It had some of the other terpenes in there to kind of balance it out.
It reminded me of a seltzer.
I just hated how it grew. I absolutely hated how it grew. I grew it indoors, and it was like the more of an airier structure. Like I couldn't get it to dense up, and I've had people comment on my videos and say outdoors is really what it's for. And growing it outdoors, you could get a little bit more density. At least people are saying that they would get more density of it. For me, it was more a beautiful looking plant, right? I mean, that the leaves are so unique on it. It doesn't even look. It looks like a fern.
I know,
it doesn't even look
crazy.
like
it's amongst the fern family. You wouldn't, if it was with a bunch of ferns, you would assume it was a part of the mix.
Yeah,
does not look like it's our plant at all.
But it wasn't like, I want to say straggly, but like it was.
Straggly.
Straggly. It probably was.
It reminded me of very old school stuff, but like pretty old school. Where I'm just like, it looks like I got a fat nug, and then I squeeze it like it had mites or something. Like, there's nothing here. But the smell was airier. Like, it was an intoxicating lemon, lime, citrus, but it wasn't like obnoxious.
It wasn't super fuely.
No. It was a candy sweet. It was like a lemon drop. You remember those lemon drops?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. It just, again, I didn't feel anything from it.
It was light, very light effects. Yeah. I would agree on that one.
A little cerebral. It's like we're talking CBD. Like I ate a CBD gummy. How do you feel? It's like, I don't know. Like maybe I'm a little relaxed.
A little happy.
Yeah. But nothing enough that I could measure it as a success point. Like that flavor, capturing that flavor would be a good definition of somebody for limonene. It'd be like, this is the family of limonene.
Yeah.
As where the lemon skunk, you can argue, might lean a little more towards, again, the myrcene or pinene, but there's definitely limonene in there. It's just, that's an acquired flavor, as where the other ones, like you can be like, no, it's nice. Other one you may hate. It just depends. You know, my dad hated that. Hated it. Just preference.
I like you kind of mentioned the spectrum of like limonene and pinene on one side, because you're kind of right. It's like you got really, really sweet, and then you kind of got like the softer tones, the more earthier tones, the forest, the swamp kind of idea. And to me, that's kind of in and where I like to be in regards to that taste. I would actually put like an OG Kush in there as well, with like that earth, that kind of that swampy kind of taste and aroma. Great. And I grew that one many times.
See, and I think that's the argument of like 4 terpenes in the one that are, but then one's the dominant terpene. So this would be the dominant is pinene, secondary would be myrcene, you know what I'm saying? Linalool in there for a little bit, linalool. And it makes you like, you can't, the entourage effect, prime example, you can't get everything without having everything. But it may not be so heavy in this side. The tough part, this is where I think it's tough with phenotypes and with growing your own and all these things, is you can't guarantee you're going to get all these expressions. What'll lean more towards the pinene funk. I had my Holy Grail Kush, all pine with some gas in the back end, but piney as fuck, dude. Like just, that one though, unfortunately, every time I tell the people to get it, they don't get that sharp pine. They've got to grow 20 of them to find it. They get what leans a little bit more towards the myrcene, sometimes a little more towards limonene. So it's like you can find this expression if it leans towards that, but you got to hunt it. You know, it seems to be the case.
Yeah, for the pinene, one thing that comes to mind, and we got to mention almost every episode, is a Chill Out OG.
Chill Out OG, chill, baby. We need to get that over here too.
Yeah.
Chill Out OG.
But that's a good example of, although there's a lot of pinene in it, it also has the myrcene in it. It also has the limonene in it. There's a combination of that citrus, the pine,
you've got some
the
caryophyllene in there too, with that pepper and a little bit of
that's what everybody's individual palate may pick up more on these flavors there, but without the diversification of these hybrids that we bitched about in prior episodes, we wouldn't have these. These are like I said, the categories. Now it creates a new category because it's like, man, if you can get this percentage, you got this flavor. But you have to, it's like, same with a recipe. If you don't have those exactly dialed in, it's going to vary too much.
That's right. It's like, how do you get that gas smell, right? I would argue that that's a mixture between the caryophyllene, a little bit of pinene, and at a particular ratio is going to give you that nastiness.
Some myrcene.
It's like it's
in
mixed in
bit.
there now. It's fermenting.
Well, and then there's like just a splash of limonene, just a splash of the, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like you
a
literally got to add
painter
just
with a
tiny,
brush, just whipping it on the. Give you some of that. Give you that.
That's I think why in the past year I've gotten so fascinated with genetics, man. Like doing the episodes on CLTV, getting into the breeding projects. I'm just like, holy shit, man! Like this is why it acts this way. Like I had no idea that the great parent of this is what it like. This is why it's this, and this is the characteristic I like. So now I want to get this land race. You know, you learn about these chemical compounds, which then makes you understand the names of genetics sometimes, or the family they fall into, the Cushes, the diesels, these different ones that for me I've loved for years. But why have I loved them? The terpenes, the flavonoids, these things that can't even say most of the flavonoids. Maybe one day we'll get into that episode. But you've got so many more opportunities to find your why once you understand these terpenes versus the what. The what is the name of the genetic, but the why is the terpenes, I feel, personally.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed.
One other one that comes to mind when we're talking about pinene, and it's on the lighter side, but still worthy of mentioning, is Forum Stomper by Visto Genetics.
Oh, yeah.
Good mention.
And so I grew that one out, and it actually my only one that I've grown from Mephisto. I need to get in there and grow some more.
Three Bears OG is another piney
autos.
stink one.
Yeah, autos. I'm not the biggest fan of autos. Just like P, I know P has a whole video that says "Stop growing autos." You guys will have to tune into that sometime. But the Forum Stomper does have the pine in there, not overwhelming, but it really does have a lot of gas or fuel in it, and it's super, super strong, and big fan of it. So shout out to Mephisto. Actually, shout out to High Again as well. They're the ones who put me on. They sent me over the Forum Stomper to grow out, and so they put me on. Big shout out to you, High Again.
Canadian breeder too.
Canadian, okay.
Mm-hmm. He's a mountain grower from the Mountain Men.
Mountain Men.
Mountain Men. Yeah.
These are these things when you look at lines of genetics too. Like you'll see, again, we talked about that recently in another episode. You'll see people do like a whole room of one particular strong dominant trait across all these other ones because they know this strong terpene mixed with this other strong terpene, and this, like, they'll all be so unique. Even though it's one initial cross, bunch of GMOs in these other ones, you'll get a flavor that may be next level because the small percentage of this terpene added into this, added into this, added into this. It's that entourage effect of the terpenes, let alone the other cannabinoids that give you the unique flavor. I remember Trey doing all sorts of different culinary stuff for CLTV, and there's shit that I'm like, ew, you're putting jelly in your meatball, like all this nasty stuff. That the flavor, though, I wouldn't know it was in there unless he told me. But unless he mixed all these flavors together, you wouldn't get that end product. So it's like, I could say I don't like limonene, but I guarantee I wouldn't have half the genetics I like without limonene being in it. I just don't like limonene dominant.
That's fair. That's like, that's the same with me. I don't like, I'm sure I'll take some limonene and love a little bit of zest.
Yeah.
Right? I just don't want it to dominate my palate.
Exactly. And I think that's where, once you get into things like pinene, that's like your old school. Pinene and myrcene together, pinene, they have a nostalgic, this is bud. Like your brickweed, your anything Durban, the Afghans, the Hindu Kushes, like, it just kind of reminds you of old bud. Like, not old aged, but like the original stuff. Now things are candy flavored, and I think it's because they emphasized on some of these other terps. The back end has, pinene, and it'll have the flavors that all plants will have, so to speak. But now it's really heavy on some of these other, like, mainstream candy, dessert flavors that it's like they're Flavor Town. We're chasing desserts that are like our food. We're looking for something that has like a chicken smell to it, like things that are just really different, that I think it's cool that now we can target that with our terpenes. We understand that, hey, if I mix a little of this and this, I'm going to get a lemon without it being heavy in limonene. You'll just get a weird chemical mix reaction. This FTS clip was brought to you by AC Infinity, leaders in garden innovation. Use discount code TheStash15 at checkout to save some money on your order.
From the Stash Podcast.